Hi, everyone, and you're very welcome back to another episode here on Narcon with myself and Remy, sitting by the fire again as it's a wet and windy day out there. You're very welcome to this channel, particularly if you're new here, and we sure welcome you and welcome new comments coming in. Everyone's experience can help another person, so please do share if you have anything that you would like to say or just join in. Just don't be alone. Today I'd like to get into the final devaluation phase with a narcissist and what that looks like, and also to take as an example. I've done this in a few different podcasts over the last few years. I would like to take a particular situation that's in public view with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle that is playing out on an open stage in relation to narcissistic behaviour. And I have a pretty different view, I suppose, to the what's out there in general at the moment. I'll give you my view on what I feel is possibly happening. And I would liken this to what happens in the general devaluation, final devaluation cycle of a narcissist. So just a little recap on what the cycle is with a narcissist. It's the love bombing stage, the hooking the person into the relationship. Then there's the devaluation, the pulling away, the push and pull to keep that person putting out for the narcissist, to bring them further under control, to do what the narcissist wants them to do, to hook them basically into the relationship with the narcissist and to keep them there and firmly hooked, and to utilize the person's resources. So you'll have in the devaluation stage, you'll have the push and the pull. I mean, if the narcissist was suddenly quickly to turn around and tell you that actually everything in the love bomb was a whole joke and that they're not who they said they were and that you're crap and they don't love you at all, obviously people would walk away from narcissistic relationships a hell of a lot quicker than they actually may end up doing. So it is a slow and very subtle process, and the initial devaluation may be even something you don't quite pick up on, but it may be the narcissist just not being as complimentary as they would have been normally, not commenting on something that you say the way they normally do, or making a slight critique, or praising somebody else who would be in the same category as you, maybe another person who's a potential partner, a single person for the narcissist, and saying that they're doing something better or whatever. Just little, slight devaluations that you're very attuned to, changes within the relationship dynamic that are in a critical manner. You will get midterm devaluations where indeed the narcissist may discard you for a certain length of time, may disappear for a night or two, or create an argument, or not turn up for an event, or whatever. So the relationship is taking a turn for the worst. The narcissist is maybe going out a bit on their own, and you think that the relationship has problems, and when you start to work on them, then you start to put out more for the narcissist starts to love bomb you again, mini love bomb you, and you think, we'll get through this or whatever. So the devaluation is a gradual, incremental type of, I suppose you would call it abuse, because it is something that's carried out. It's a manipulation of your emotions to make you, groom you to put out more and to become more under control, to provide services a narcissistic supply for the narcissist, basically. When they get fed up of the adulation, the admiration, the love, the genuine empathy you have for them, they want to turn you from that person into a reactive person, even in the negative sense, and then turn you back into the loving person again. So it's a whole narcissistic supply cycle. So that is the way it goes until the narcissist and you change the dynamic in the relationship. You understand that this has happened 10 times before, and it keeps going 2 days good, 1 day bad, 2 days bad, 1 day good, and there's nothing stable about the relationship, and you're becoming exhausted, so you're pulling back and asking for your needs to be met, aka putting in some boundaries, and the narcissist has benefited from your services. In other words, they invested in you initially and you have paid dividends, but the share price has gone down and they're beginning to, things aren't as rosy in the garden. You're maybe having financial problems, relationship problems. Other things just aren't going as well in life for you as a couple. Due in the main to the narcissist's decisions and the narcissist's way of treating other people, etc. So it's down to them, but it's shared by you as a couple. And the narcissist has gotten the most benefit out of being with you, like they've capitalized on it and it's beginning to dwindle. As I say, the association with you has paid off. They've gained something financially from you. They can't gain any more. You have nothing more to give. You're becoming exhausted and putting boundaries in. So it's looking a less attractive investment. And that's where I'd like to bring in what's been happening with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry on the world stage. Up to this, and just before I say this, both individuals, both Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, have behaved abominably towards, their families, the critiques they've made of people. They've both behaved narcissistically, however. I believe that Meghan Markle is, in my opinion, and it's just an opinion, based on her behaviours, I believe that she is the narcissist and more. And that Prince Harry has empathy, but has gone into, basically she's brought out the worst side of him and he's gone into his narcissistic side. So basically she's benefited from marrying into the royal family. She's benefited from gaining a title out of the marriage. She's benefited financially and it's given her a notoriety. The marriage had all the potential of benefiting her to such an amazing extent, the potential for doing great good in service and duty within the royal family or without of the royal family as they chose to be. The potential there for living an amazing life, for being very popular, for being very famous, for being all of those things was there. And incrementally, it was destroyed because they chose to cut the families off, both families, to preach and practice charity, connectiveness, all the good qualities that they aren't actually practicing. And to try and silence people once people decided to speak out about the behaviours and the actions and the cruelty and the cruel way that they were treating their families and the hypocrisy of preaching something and not practicing it. So without going into that further or the behaviour analysis further, getting back to the final devaluation, it came to a point there a few weeks ago, I think, when the Hollywood Reporter actually outed their opinion of Miss Markle as not being accepted by the Hollywood crowd, by the A-listers, no matter how pushy she was, no matter how self-agendized she was, no matter how much she pushed ahead of Harry in her attempts to become the most popular person in the world. After all, the joint outings, the joint initiatives for them to look like the saviours of the new world, eventually the behaviours have outed and Hollywood and the world of celebrity, and in general the public, have seen through the behaviours and are pretty disgusted with the behaviours and the hypocrisy that they see going on. My analysis is, a lot of people would say, a lot of people are saying in public forums, that this is the end of the relationship between Meghan and Prince Harry, because Prince Harry has gone out on his own to do his own thing, and she's doing her own thing back in America for a period of time. My analysis of this is, with a narcissist, that when they get highly criticised, they don't take accountability for that. But what she will be doing, in my opinion, is blaming now her association with Prince Harry and blaming Prince Harry for her bad press. Notwithstanding that she wouldn't even be having bad press if she wasn't with Prince Harry. So her behaviours she will see as exemplary, and her press people will probably be saying they need to reinvent themselves again, as they've done about, 10 times already. And perhaps maybe they should do things separately, to change things up a bit. She will jump on that if she hadn't suggested it herself, and say to herself, Harry's bringing me down. The reason I'm getting all this bad press is because the royal family are putting out propaganda against me, and I'm not getting a fair shot, and it's all because of Harry. I need to get rid of Harry. For a time, I need to go my own way. I need for Harry to go away from me, and I need to do my own thing because that's when I was successful before. And in blaming Harry and telling him to go and do his own thing, she will immediately think, in my opinion, that of course he will fail without her. How can he's such a twit. How can he possibly achieve anything without her? That is the level of delusion, grandeur and superiority that she operates under as a narcissist. And this is the interesting part, because this is going to come back to bite her, in my opinion. Without taking accountability and blame shifting the exposure, the negative exposure that has come to pass on Harry, this is really going to turn around and give a big slap in the face to Miss Markle, in my opinion, because Harry is obviously succeeding very well, in fact, much better, without her, with a noose around his neck, with a lead on him, being led around, being pushed around, being stood in front of, being pushed into the background. He was literally used as a prop for her to become famous. I believe that she honestly thinks he can't succeed without her. So when the news comes back of his success without her, she will go absolutely ape. Ballistic. Because that, to a narcissist, is threatening the reality that they've created for themselves. And the narrative that she has told herself is that it's all Harry's fault. She needs to separate from him, and therefore she will succeed perfectly in her own right. In my opinion, the narcissist does this in the final devaluation. They separate within the relationship from their intimate partner, their husband, wife, boyfriend or girlfriend. In order, for one, because they're so filled up on everything they've stolen from the partner, that they feel invincible. They feel anything negative that's happening is definitely not their fault, but is the partner's fault. And the partner must be removed from them. So they can actually build or segue a way out of the relationship eventually. And it's part of the plan, the final stage, to either shelve the partner and maintain the relationship for instance, title, for financial input, for whatever benefit there might be in staying married to someone, but to have them removed from you so the narcissist can do their own thing and can establish and develop perhaps a relationship, an intimate relationship that might be better than staying in the stagnant relationship that they currently have. So I don't believe that they're separating immediately. I don't believe that the reason that they're now working apart at the moment has anything to do with the beginning of a separation. What I think is that she is convinced that it's his fault and this is the right thing to do. And once she goes out on her own, she's going to be a great success story and he's going to be the failure. It is literally the narcissist's delusion in the final devaluation, where they're filled up on the narcissistic supply of the now defunct partner. But that's not the way it's playing out. And whereas people do say it's the end, like they've gone their separate ways and it looks like they're separating, I do not see it as a possible separation. I see it as a separation within the structure of the marriage until such time as there is a possible path or segue or stepping stone for Miss Markle out of the marriage that is going to benefit her more so than staying in the contract of the marriage. And I think that this final devaluation in her mind is so that Harry will show himself up for being the cause of the criticism, that he won't do well on his own and that he'll fail without her and will be so much more under her control because he will realise that he's a failure without her. And that's not what's happening. The opposite is happening. She is becoming more criticised, particularly there for her outing where it was all about her when she went to the children's hospital charity do in a very inappropriate dress and all about me, photo, and out like a shot once the photos were taken. Obviously, a big PR exercise. And then the news coming back about Harry's successes abroad, because he actually does care. And when he's on his own, you know, he cares about the organisations. When he's involved, he actually cares about the children he's talking to because he has empathy. So it's not going to go the way I believe is supposed by a very delusional narcissist, in my opinion. That's my analysis of the situation as it stands at present. I don't often delve into talking about celebrities in relation to narcissism, but this is an example that I've heard a lot of people say, oh, they're separating. And I just really thought, no, they're not separating. They're separating within the marriage as the final devaluation of the narcissist. And that's what I believe is behind the thought process that is behind the going their separate ways in the public forum. So let's see how it plays out. Thank you for listening. If you're in a final devaluation, all I can say to you is get out as quick as you can and rebuild yourself for the wonderful life that you have ahead of you. And do not stick around for the narcissist to drain you of every last drop of blood. Just don't. Thanks, guys. Bye.